I had a little time on my hands over the last few days.
You weren't working.
I was. Let's speak for yourself. And I just decided what I would do is I would rewatch the national championship game against TCU from last year. And let me tell you what, it does not disappoint on watch number 17.
Yeah.
And some things stuck out to me, Clint. I noticed a few things, and I would love to share them with you today on the Locked On Bulldogs podcast.
You are Locked On Bulldogs, your daily podcast on the Georgia Bulldogs, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Welcome back, everybody. This is Locked On Bulldogs, part Locked On Podcast Network. Thanks for making us your first listen. If you're on the YouTube side, thanks for joining us. Hit that subscribe button, that bell as well. But also, get on over to the audio side. Download it on the podcast. Keep it on your phone. Listen to us wherever you go.
Helps us out a bunch. We love that.
We love it.
If you're a YouTube subscriber, we love that. We love that that's how you consume the show.
Yeah.
Go ahead and subscribe to an audio feed on whatever podcast listening app is your preference. It's a big way you can support the show for free.
If you love your boys out, it's simple. Do so. We are talking about three things today. We're going to talk about that national championship game against TCU, the sleeper on the defensive line, a pass catcher who, watch out, might be making some moves. And someone who's never going to sniff the playoffs in the foreseeable future, Florida. Daniel, by the way, I think we should introduce a new segment to the podcast.
Okay, I'm ready for it. Do we have a graphic for this? Do we need music or something?
No music.
Okay.
No, we have no robes. There are no candles we're staring into for all those OGs who have been with us since Talking Dogs. No, it's the if-then segment.
Oh, I love this. Okay, here we go.
So if I had more confidence when I asked Alexandra out to the prom when I was a sophomore.
Yikes. Right back to the couch. Right back to the couch.
She would have said yes. This is a segment for all the Ohio State fans listening. If number of things happened in a game, then you would have been playing TCU.
If you had scored more points than Georgia,
yep,
then you would have won the game.
Okay. So I think we should make it a tradition, kind of like Auburn's trying to start a tradition of good football.
Of football, playing football.
We should start a tradition where we start off the podcast with an if-then statement, Daniel, about our own lives.
If Ohio State hadn't let Stetson Bennett absolutely decimate them in the fourth quarter, then they might have won Ryan Day's only championship of his life.
If a DB could keep up speed-wise with Arian Smith,
no one can.
Then Ohio State would have something more than talking about offensive passing yards to talk about.
Arian Smith, by the way, big drop in the national championship game. Obviously didn't matter. But everyone who's on the Arian Smith is going to have a breakout season this year. I respect you. I respect you, Colin. I believe that you are all sensible people, some of you. I don't believe that you're all sensible people. Is Chris Marler on the Arian Smith is going to have a breakout season?
Chris,
I mean, he has an opinion about literally everything that happens to or concerning the University of Georgia, so I assume he has an opinion on Arian Smith.
The number of accounts that he has to buy on a weekly basis is staggering. The guy's wallet has to be empty at this point.
If you're on the Arian Smith as the breakout wide receiver for the University of Georgia for this coming season.
People love the banter, by the way, Daniel.
This is about the national championship. Arian Smith had a big drop. I think
this
epitomizes
boom or bust.
The nature of him as a wide receiver. Is he faster than everyone else on the field?
Literally.
Yes. Is he an incredibly skilled and polished wide receiver? No, he is not.
It's the catching aspect that I really worry about.
Anyone can just take a reservation.
But see,
it's the holding the football.
When you keep the football in your hands as you cross the goal line.
I think I know why we throw and catch the ball, Clint. I don't think you do.
Let's talk about the film that you watched against TCU, the absolute smashing that happened.
Here's where I want to start, and it's obvious. It's obvious. It's a kind of a layup place to start, but it's impossible to watch the game.
Okay.
Impossible to watch the game and not think to yourself,
oh my gosh,
Brock Bowers has another year of eligibility in college football.
He's mandated. He's mandated to play
He's
this
so
year.
much better than everyone else.
And they're starting to see it. NFL scouts, commentators are starting to see, again, regardless of position, regardless of weighted scale, he is the best prospect in years to come out of college football.
I'm going to make a statement, and I had this thought as I was watching the game. People want to compare him to Travis Kelce because Travis Kelce is the best tight end in college football. He's the best tight end to play college football in quite some time.
Sure.
Brock Bowers is way more like Christian McCaffrey than he is Travis Kelce. He's not a tight end.
I see no problem with what you're doing. Continue, by the way.
He's a do everything and anything you want him to do type of guy. An NFL offensive coordinator is going to have a field day figuring out ways to get Brock Bowers open and get him the ball, because when he has the ball in his hands, his ability to catch the ball, first of all, in traffic in this game was on full display. It was absolutely majestic.
By the way, Travis Kelce, his last year at Cincinnati, 45 catches, 722 yards, averaging 16 yards a catch, which is great.
Kansas City, you mean? Sorry, you said Cincinnati.
At University.
I'm sorry.
University
in college.
In college. 45 receptions, 722 yards, 16 average.
Please don't compare college stats with Travis Kelce. Like, we're not going to.
Well, I'm just saying 8 touchdowns. Like, you want to say collegiate. Okay, fine. I don't care. Brock Bowers has crushed all of these. Like size, measurables, everything. It's ridiculous. I think a Christian McCaffrey, a guy that you just have to get the ball in his hands. And
then you just get him the ball. That's your offense.
That's it.
You just figure out how to get him the ball. He's coming back. Now, much has been made of the quarterback situation at Georgia. And I get it.
Do you?
But let's not overstate how simple it is to just find 19 and then just throw 19. Throw it somewhere near him.
It's called a catch radius, and he has all of it.
He going to get it. Brock Bowers, another year of eligibility. All right, I got a lot more thoughts. Most of them are about the defensive side of the ball.
Oh my gosh.
And they're all coming up right after this.
First one's about eBay Motors. eBay Motors is kind of like, if you will, the Brock Bowers of
internet-based auto parts,
because
retailers.
They're always where you need them to be. They have the right fit, no matter how hard it is in traffic, how tight the windows are.
I see what you did there. Traffic.
Come on now, you see me do.
This man is a professional.
Let me cook. They are incredible at getting the right part for your car. And when I say your car, I mean your exact car. If you go over to eBay Motors, you put into My Garage your make, your model, your year, and eBay
2003 Honda Civic.
Ooh, we're remaking that thing up again.
We just got it out there on the driveway.
We got that spoiler. We got that bug shield. We got the whole thing cooking. eBay Motors is the place that you need to go. Put in the make and the model into My Garage, and then every single part that you get, they have a guaranteed fit. 122 million parts going to come right to you. It's going to be safe. It's going to be reliable. And if it doesn't fit, you get your money back guaranteed. Get the right part, the right fit, the right price. ebaymotors.com. Let's ride. eBay guaranteed fit, only available to U.S. customers. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. You said that you had a few things, Daniel, to talk about as it pertains to the defensive side. And we know defensive side, we've said Mykel Williams, watch out. He's going to have a year upon years in the SEC.
He showed some of that in the national championship game last year.
He did.
Absolutely destroying a left tackle.
I kind of feel bad.
That's not what stood out on the defensive front, though.
Okay, so the most talented returning defensive lineman we have, talent-wise, just raw talent, Mykel Williams.
That's not what stood out.
You said that's good. I'm glad we have that. But also,
Let me just say, Nazir Stackhouse might be a first-round draft pick.
Y'all, we've done this with Devontae Wyatt and called it, and he was.
Nazir Stackhouse, that's a man. Now,
He can move.
a lot wants to be made about Jalen Carter,
Sure.
the loss of Jalen Carter. But Nazir Stackhouse started right next to Jalen Carter all year last year.
All year.
Nazir Stackhouse is not – that's not the back – Warren Brinson, guys like that, that's the Jalen Carter backup.
Correct. Nazir Stackhouse ain't playing
I like
second fiddle with people.
Warren Brinson a lot too, by the way. But I've been on him as having a big breakout year this year. But watching this game, watching the absolute just straight up the center, Nazir Stackhouse, the push from the nose position.
Here we go.
It cannot be overstated. It's the most important place to pressure a quarterback from. Now, Mykel Williams might be the best pass rusher on the team. That's all well and good.
Sure.
But it cannot be overstated what pressure up the center does to disrupt an offense. And he was in the face of little Andy Dalton Jr. back there for TCU all night long. Clint, Nazir Stackhouse is going to be a problem for opponents of the University of Georgia this year.
So let me help encourage all of you that believe first. Georgia plays a 3-4 defense. Let me just help you.
Word. Are you listening?
We do not play a 3-4 defense. We have 2 linebackers. We have 2 edge. We at times have 3 down. We have times 2 down linemen. We have a money package. We have a jack. It is a defense that is not 3-4 nor 4-3. Stop putting it into that.
It's not 3-4.
It's not 3-4. It is when we talk about Nazir Stackhouse manning up and doing the Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter, getting pushed from the 1 or the 0 tech, collapsing the pocket from the inside. We're talking about the edge defenders, and it's not a defensive end or an outside linebacker. It's an edge defender because that's what exactly Kirby calls it, and that's what the defense calls for, because sometimes you drop back, sometimes you are setting the edge on a run, a la Nolan, who, by the way, you talk about excuses going on. What if he was healthy the entire year? But I digress, because Philly fans are certainly excited about a healthy him. Can we?
How's that going to go?
That
boy, watching him on the sidelines in that national championship game, just a delight. Just
I'm
a young
you right
man
now.
that is just a young man. It's impossible not to cheer for.
How do you not like this man? I just incredible.
You love
Anyway,
it.
I digress.
Nazir Stackhouse, Warren
when you're
Brinson,
talking about making that pocket, that offensive line bend to you, you're talking about, again, conceptually what this defense does so extremely well. It's not only beat your man, it's the way you beat your man. And Nazir Stackhouse is able to beat his man by clobbering him and taking him with him
force
to the quarterback, which in turns not only gets him closer to the quarterback, causes the quarterback to change direction, but also changes the offensive line trajectory. And all of a sudden, now those A-gap blitzes with the 2 linebackers we have. Now all of a sudden, the edge defender who was setting and Mykel Williams off the other side, it is havoc upon havoc upon havoc back there. And when you limit escape possibilities, that's what Nazir Stackhouse is doing. You're not only setting up yourself, but the whole defense to be completely suffocating. This is where that term suffocating comes back in, Daniel. Time and time and time. And that's what Nazir Stackhouse does.
That's what he does. It's it can't be oversold. The defensive front is not going to be an area of weakness for the University of Georgia.
No. But see,
at all.
Do you remember, again, harken back, Georgia fan and the rest of the media, okay? Because you all said this. I've been on podcasts with you all saying this. This is the excuse you always say. You can't replace that level of talent.
Can't do it.
The defense and repeat it. It's impossible. Okay.
But what happens when we do it? You can't do it again.
When Jordan Davis leaves, when Devontae Wyatt leaves.
You can't do it again.
First rounders again.
You can't do it again.
Okay, but what if we have Jalen Carter who just did it and then he's gone, and Nolan Smith who did it and now he's gone? oh, we can't do it
You'll never do it again.
Oh, no. But we have Michael Williams and we have Azir Stackhouse.
All right. Let me ask you, it's not just that. I mean, we've got Miller. We got Christian Miller. Clint. I mean, just like, let's talk about some of the guys that haven't gotten the reps. Yeah.
Y'all saw G-Day.
Yeah. Y'all know. Y'all know who's coming. Okay. Let me ask you a question, Clint.
Okay.
This is for some of the people that might not understand out there. I want to let you explain to them.
Okay.
Does JDJ, Dumas Johnson, does he belong in the conversation with guys like Nakobe Dean and Roquan Smith?
It's simply yes. Here's why.
Okay.
Kirby Smart doesn't play people who don't belong in that conversation. Like, get ready from here until eternity.
Okay.
Kirby, like, if you are starting inside linebacker at Georgia, you are a guy who that's your demarcation. That's your standard line to ascend to. And if you're not close to that, we have a big problem. Our recruiting has suffered and our development has suffered. Monty Rice is still in that. And Monty Rice is nowhere near the linebacker Roquan Smith and Nakobe Dean are. Okay.
Not athletically.
But when he played at Georgia, it was an incredible backer play that we got from Monty Rice. And it continues. JDJ pops people. Is probably, I'll use the term more overall rounded. Nakobe Dean, Roquan Smith, bullet train, freight train, sideline to sideline. I think JDJ has a little bit more nuance to his game in between the tackles than both those guys.
Probably lacks in the top end speed.
He doesn't have the top end speed.
A little bit more well-rounded.
But instinctually,
belongs he's in the neighborhood.
Of course he is.
Of guys that we would acknowledge some of the best to ever do it.
Roquan Smith is the all-time
greats
at Georgia.
Roquan Smith is the best linebacker to ever play at the University. Best inside backer for sure to ever play at the University of Georgia.
Yes.
Nakobe Dean, legendary.
Second best.
Georgia linebacker. He blocked every kick, Clint. Just be careful before you start. Just before you start, he blocked every kick. Here's my statement after watching the national championship game. I set you up. I think Smile Mondon is going to be the best linebacker on this team next year.
Smile Mondon is going the first round, y'all.
It's not about where he's going to get drafted, because I do think it's a lock he's going to get drafted higher than JDJ. I think he's going to be the best linebacker on Georgia's team next year. I think he's going to be the most productive. Ooh. I think he's going to be the guy that you're going to be like, that's the guy we can't live without. Smile Mondon is a dude. He's that dude.
Now let's talk more well-rounded JDJ. There's a few things Smile does that I'm not using the term well-rounded. I'm using term laser.
He's more of a precision instrument.
Yes, he is. We're going to talk about that next. But first, these. Precision instrument. Smile
Mondon, I think.
I have no problem with this.
I think he's going to be the best line. I mean, just you watch him play, you watch his instincts, you watch the way that he attacks the line of scrimmage to make tackles. You see the way that he pursues towards the sidelines. I'm big on Smile Mondon for the upcoming season. All right, I got two more thoughts.
Okay.
Watching the national championship game for the 199 here in segment 3. Welcome to the 199. Happy to have you along.
Bonfire.com/store/the199.
That's where you can go get the merch, get the Curbanese, get the Death March shirt. Let me start here because I think you may have forgotten. There's been a lot of, maybe you, Clint.
Okay.
Maybe you have forgotten.
But tell me, educate me.
The problem with having such a plethora of talent is that sometimes you can forget how special individual talents are within that plethora of talent.
Cornucopia, if you will.
A veritable cornucopia. Lad McConkey is very, 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 very good at football playing.
I don't understand how you guys don't. Cooper Kupp, Lad McConkey. Tell me they're in the same room at the same time.
I never. They make those beards that you can just stick on your face. That's all I'm saying. We can neither confirm nor deny. We can confirm the burner phone. We can confirm the yacht. We can confirm a lot of things. Lad McConkey will do many things. Here's what he brings to the table. Number one, he had a bit of a stretch in the middle of last season. I don't know if you recall. I think you probably do, where he had a bit of the drops. He got a little dropsy.
We're very vocal about this, Daniel.
He fumbled a punt. He muffed some punts.
Ooh, I was heated.
He couldn't catch the broadside of a barn, it didn't seem
wide open.
Was he dealing with some injuries? I don't know. People talked about that. I don't know. He figured it out.
Does Lad care about that? Did he think the injury concerned him about dropping?
Did he make excuses like that? No, he didn't. He figured it out by the time we got to the national championship game in Los Angeles.
Second half of the season, he did just fine.
He figured that out. Lad McConkey brings an ability to make a contested catch.
Mm-hmm.
And he showed that in that game. You throw Lad McConkey the ball in the end zone, he's going to go up and get it. He brings the ability to run by you, to juke you, to put you in the blender, to make you look like a foolish person trying to cover him on a route. He can run routes. He's got elite quickness and great speed. That's what I'll say about Lad McConkey. He doesn't have elite speed, but he has elite shift and change of direction.
But I'll tell you, I'll just ask you this. Ask a DB to stick on him in a game.
See, that's the thing. Speed is not... we ain't out here playing Usain Bolt on TV. Like, that's not what we do.
He doesn't have a track lane that he has to stay between the lines.
We're out here running routes, and so that's change of direction. He's elite in that department. But the third thing that he can do, and this is where this is why Todd Monken's now a wealthier man than he was, and this is why Mike Bobo is going to just love Lad McConkey. The third thing he can do is, if you notice, Lad McConkey is bust wide open more often than any receiver on Georgia's team. I'm talking about busted coverage wide open. And you could say to yourself, well, his stats are inflated. They're all puffed up. He's not really that great of a wide receiver because some of those plays, you just got DBs busted. No. See, no. What Lad McConkey offers you is the versatility to line him up in so many different places and run so many different route combinations with so many different other guys that he creates those busted coverages with his versatile skill set.
Let me just quick offense 101 okay. Lad McConkey starts off on the right slot. He does a little motion to come in. Carson Beck looks over at what the DB is doing and what safety comes down or linebacker makes communication. Are we in man zone? What type we in? Because all of a sudden, if I like the matchup in man that we're seeing, I'm just going to just keep on motioning through the line, Lad. Get over on the other side.
Or maybe we read the defense, we see what's happening, and then we turn to Dejan Edwards, who's standing right next to us, and we say, hey, I want you to attack that safety. I want you to move your route, and I want you to attack that safety because guess what? The safety's going to have to either take you or Lad.
And I'm going to break Lad off here at the 10-yard mark.
And whichever one he don't take, that's who I'm going to throw the football to. You see that from guys like that because they're more than just line up on the outside and sprint down the hash marks and look up and try to catch the football as it sails, through the air. Lad McConkey brings a versatility to the wide receiver position. He's got an elite set of skills. I don't think Georgia fans fully appreciate the guy that he is.
No.
Last thought about the national championship game. speaking of things that are not getting enough attention this offseason, Broderick Jones is off to the NFL. I'm not sure if you've heard of him, but he's quite good.
He's starting at left tackle, so that's the Giants that he's starting at left tackle and just signed a huge franchise. Oh, no,
that was Andrew Thomas. He'll be the guy signing a huge contract in 2 years for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Oh, he's already starting. Okay,
yeah.
Some reps.
Warren McClendon also off to the NFL.
Go.
By the way, nothing is more overrated than the fact that Amarius Mims wasn't a starter this year. Do you know who was playing right tackle the second play of the national championship game? Amarius Mims was. That's the second play.
Interesting.
So tell me more about who started, please.
Interesting.
Please tell me more. Okay. Those two guys are gone, off to the NFL.
They are.
Cannot be overstated. Xavier Truss, SVP, Tate Ratledge.
That interior
That
line.
trio right in the middle of that offensive line is coming back. And Clint, you and Xavier Truss have had your moments.
We have.
But let me just say definitively, those three guys, they nasty. Okay.
They can do one thing.
They nasty.
Very well. Demolish interior defensive linemen like they aren't there.
We're excited about Ernest Green. If that's who ends up starting at left tackle. We know what we have in Amarius Mims. That guy's a rock.
No, we good.
We're good there. But the strength of this line, make no mistake,
starts at SVP,
is right up the gut. Kendall Milton is going to enjoy himself.
No.
He's going to. This is the year he's been waiting on. Not only because of his health, not only because of the depth chart situation, but Clint, it's not just Kendall Milton.
Go ahead. Get me in a lather.
Now, imagine a running back. Okay,
I'm my eyes are closed.
Who seeks contact. He loves contact.
The lather is coming.
He's built on contact.
Oh, yep. Mm-hmm.
Is that guy running jet sweeps around the edge? Is that what he's trying to do? Where's he trying to run, Clint?
It's called the one gap.
He's running right up the gut. Now, that's the strength of that offensive line, which means we're blowing off the ball and hitting defensive linemen in the face.
I can hear the helmet.
We're coming with a double team on one, and then Xavier Truss bouncing off, and he catching a linebacker in the hole.
Good luck.
And now Branson Robinson's eyed up a safety, and the safety's 12 yards away. Clint.
I tweeted this out. Branson Robinson's going to end a couple safety career by the time this year's done.
It's a 12-yard running start
for a man.
He get to the safety.
That's 225, but wears it like it's 205.
It's a recipe for a lot of fun. It's a recipe for me squealing like a schoolgirl watching Georgia football a lot.
We're going to, one of these times, we're going to live feed Daniel and I.
The world
ain't ready.
The world ain't ready. They ain't, listen, if you haven't been to the Carolina Panthers absolute dumpster of a stadium
what are you
with
doing,
me,
by the way? Yeah, that was.
If you hadn't been there with me, there's about 3 men in this world that are ready for that live stream, and none of them want to see it. None of them are interested. They all have the same last name, and none of them are interested. None of them want to see it.
Fantastic. Hey, this has been Locked On Bulldogs, part of Locked On Podcast Network, your team every single day. We will see you all next time. See you guys then.
See you.